Hey, good morning, you guys. Welcome to episode number 68 of the First and 10 NFL New York Jets podcast. Good morning, brother. How you doing?
I am good. Football is here. Today is
three days in the books already.
and today I believe is the first practice open to the public. So we're really going to get a lot of, if whoever's on social media, you're going to get to see a lot of content today because our fans are going to be posting out the wazoo. So there's going to be a lot of interesting takes today. If there hasn't been already,
And 1 week from today, I'll be at the stadium to check out the green and white. So
nice. Is that 1 week from today already?
1 week from today.
That's the August.
August 6th.
Wow. Nice.
It's here, man. It's here.
Yeah.
And then a week later, you go, right?
Yep. I go the 15th. I'll be there. So if anyone's there, come and find me. Let's talk football.
Oh, looks like we're getting a guest here.
It looks like we're having our special guest coming on. Oh, there he is. Can you hear us, Mike? We'll give him a minute. Give him
a second. Mike! He's having trouble.
Well, when he's ready. Yeah, so that's exciting. Like, it's here. Like, it's no longer 2-3 months waiting. Like, we're ready to rock and roll with this team.
Hell yeah.
This is going to be exciting. Yep. So as everyone could see, we have a special guest, and once he's ready, we'll get ready to rock and roll.
Can you hear us? We can't hear you.
We can hear you. The audio is.
You gotta love it.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
Live podcast at its best.
That's
right.
We see you. Right.
We can't hear you.
No bullshit here. No bullshit.
Yeah, no, it happens. And what? I can't hear you. No.
Oh, now can you hear me?
There you go.
Yes, we can.
There you go. Before we introduce you, I have to say, Kevin, like we always say with our shows, we don't edit. When people watch it, they're going to see us struggle to get Mike on live.
Yeah. I know. I'm supposed to be the young guy that's supposed to, no technical issues, but Zoom is giving me some major problems this morning.
Oh, man.
I'm clueless when it comes to this stuff. So
I'm good though. I'm happy to be here.
Bro. I know about that much.
Yeah. So Mike, correct me on the pronunciation. Obermuller?
Yeah, it's actually perfect. You got it.
Oh, nice. Nice. So Mike, tell everybody what you do, where they could find your stuff, what you're all about, and then we'll hop right in.
All right. I work for heavy.com. So Heavy's probably been around since the 90s. It's been around since the 90s, but we just started sports maybe about a decade ago or so. And I work for the Jets and Chiefs, although I am a big Jets fan. Chiefs was more just a added position that I got later on.
Jets and Chiefs, that's my two favorite teams.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and you could find us just if you search Heavy on Jets or Heavy on Chiefs into Google, you find probably the first thing that pop up, and then that's all our work right there. Or follow me on Twitter, Obermuller_NYJ.
Very cool. Very cool.
So Mike, I ask everyone because I'm always curious because I know there's probably a good age difference between us. How'd you become a Jet fan?
So for me, my brothers actually, I got two older brothers. They're both Giants and Yankees fans.
Okay.
And for whatever, my dad's from Queens, so my dad is a Mets fan, and he's not a huge football fan, I gotta admit, but he leans towards the Jets. But for whatever reason, I just went the opposite of my brothers. I think I'm like a sucker for pain or something because
yeah, you're a rebel. You're a rebel.
Yeah, every team I root for, or at least every team I rooted for when I was a kid, was not doing too well. So I like to choose the underdog, I guess is a good way to
Okay.
put it. But I think it's more so just the players that were around at the time. Like I'm a younger guy, but like Pennington and then eventually Sanchez were like two of my first big, kind of like drafted franchise type QBs, even if they didn't turn out, as expected. But I think it's always been like just the players for me that made me swing one way or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you got into the Jets almost at the right time. Like, I almost want to say that our golden age, like in a sense, because I think 6 out of the 10 years we made the playoffs under Herman, under Rex, under Mangini. When you hear us old timers gripe about this black cloud or these last 12 years of BS football, do you say to yourself, these old guys are crazy? Like, what are they talking about? Like, or do you feel the way we feel? Like,
I have a lot of respect for the older fans because I'm not somebody that likes to live in the past with all this sort of stuff, but at the same time I'm aware of it, and I know how that must have been rough going through countless years, and just over and over. And I listen to you guys, as I tell you on Twitter, like most weekends, if not every weekend, and I definitely have a respect for that side of it.
The pain. Oh, the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love Joe when he was on WFAN too. So
I mean, how many times I sat in that damn stadium in the pouring rain and 40 degrees, only to have the Colts beat us 9-6. It's like,
So, Mike,
like that. I was just gonna say to finish answering that question though, I do usually try and push the fans who have been through the roughest parts to, think of every year as like a clean slate, because that's kind of how you have to do it sometimes.
No, true.
Right.
But Mike, some say, like Kevin and I, that's the problem. We wake up every football season and we've always, Kevin and I, over the last 5 years, although we're only doing the podcast now like 14 months, we always say we have the rose-colored glasses. It's not like we're ever down on this team. We've always had this team 10-7, 10-6. We always have our teams doing well. And then we watch them and we look at each other going, what were we thinking? What were we thinking?
Then they kick us in the ass with a 4-12 or something.
It's true. I mean, it feels like the Jets always seem to have, some detrimental injury or something that totally throws the season out of whack. I mean, Lawson last year was the big one that just before the season even started, just totally. I mean, when that injury happened, I didn't want to bring fans down, but I knew that was a killer. Like that was just going to derail the whole season.
Yeah.
We like to call it a curse. So.
Yeah, the curse.
The curse.
Now you see, Mike, you said that about Lawson, and whether you're more in tune to this team as a younger fan, or we're just so negative, or like not, I don't want to use the word negative, but for some reason, at least Kevin and I, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, when we lost Lawson last year, we were upset, but we thought this team really had players. Like for the first time, I really thought, all right, we lost Lawson. It's a hit, but we'll be okay. By week 3, whoever they bring in will gel, we'll get ready, and we'll get after it. I never for the life of me expected the season I was getting. Now, maybe I'm just a stupid old Jet fan, but I really thought for the first time in a while, this team had some players. Like for finally, in my mind, I didn't think it was just team A and then the rest was garbage. I always thought like even what's considered the B team or the C team were real dogs and could get in and get after that. I guess I was wrong. I know nothing of talent, so I guess I was wrong on that. I really didn't, and maybe I'm stupid. Like I said, I didn't think the Lawson hit was gonna be that big. I thought we would miss him, but we had enough behind him to fill in the gap.
No.
What do I know?
See, the green and white that I went to last year and stuff, you could see that Lawson, man, the guy was a quarterback killer. That was a huge, huge, huge loss for us.
I know, but you didn't. I'm sorry, Mike, but Kevin, you didn't think there was someone else we were gonna play? You didn't think we were deep enough? You know, like we hear this year how deep this team is.
I thought maybe we had a shot when if you remember, we signed
Curry.
the other Lawson.
Okay.
Shaq.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe he was going to come on and do something and fill the gap, but no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say this. I mean, I don't consider myself smarter in that or anything like that. I try to be like the blue collar reporter, but when I started this job with Heavy, just the fact that we write every day and we're constantly just combing through, every report, every tweet that, basically we can find. I do feel like I'm more in tune with the team than I was maybe 3-4 years ago when I was just, watching as a fan and really just kind of going through the basic information. I wasn't going through everything. And with Lawson, it wasn't just from a talent or depth perspective. He destroyed camp in such a way where I think all the players were kind of like, this guy's
you
inhuman.
feed off of it, man. You feed off
and
of
they
it.
were
Yeah.
And then when he went down, it was like, Superman just got shot.
Huge blow. Huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think it was more just it just kind of deflated. It took the air out of it, everything out of the whole season.
I agree.
Too.
I agree.
No, that's a great point. And this is why we like having somebody else on, because they have a different perspective, a different take on it. So yeah, that's interesting. I hear you guys, and I try not to be confrontational. Like I don't have a guest on to start yelling and screaming. And I get all that. I just thought for the first time, whoever was going to come, like I felt the team had enough depth that whoever came in, it was going to take a while, but we weren't going to be the defensive. We weren't going to see the defensive line that we saw. Like these quarterbacks had all day back there. There was no pass rush.
No pressure. Well,
yeah, and you expected more from, some of the guys that were out there, like Quentin Williams and Rankins, and a few of the players that, we know in the past. Rankin's not here with the Saints, but we know in the past have performed. But I think part of that is just the year one of a new coach. A lot of times we forget just not, being on the practice field every day, that's a major transition. So, a lot of these guys.
And I also think human nature, as the losses mount.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Guys slack off. They do.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike. So finish what you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of the basic of it, is just like going from a 3-4 to a 4-3. There's always going to be those like growing pains. A guy like Quentin Williams, has been in the 3-4 system his whole NFL career. So you have to think there's something to that, and you hope this year someone like Quentin, I think, will be better. He actually had a couple sacks in camp, I think, yesterday. So you hope that someone like him will be a lot better. And then it kind of all these guys feed off each other, like you said. So
yeah.
Have you had any early access to camp?
No, my editor is trying to get me down there one of these days. Heavy's still kind of pushing into the sports world, like I said at the beginning of the podcast. Right. So this might be actually like the first year that if I get down there, that we have someone at Jets camp. We'll see if it happens. I'm not sure yet, but hopefully.
What was Heavy before they pushed into sports?
Just new, like, typical news. Also they did like tech stuff, and when I say typical news, I mean like breaking stories, like a tragedy or something to do with the general day-to-day stuff.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Mike, let's just talk to you. You're a Jet fan, so we know your background, we know what you do. Let's ask you your take. What do you think of all the Mekhi Becton nonsense? What do you think of didn't reach weight, not saying much, he's a bust, he's not a bust?
Right tackle instead of left tackle. Yeah.
Give us your opinion on this 23-year-old man.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see him come into camp and be, in good shape, look like he cares. When he showed up at minicamp, he obviously didn't look like that. So, I think it was justified for fans to be like what the hell, what's going on here?
Mhm.
Even though, he's dealing with some personal things at home with the birth of a child, you still have to get yourself, he told everyone that he was training all off season, getting himself ready. So
Yeah.
I think the frustration there was warranted. But having said that, he showed up a couple days ago and he looked like he shedded, at least 10
God,
or so
yeah,
pounds. So
I saw
Yeah.
that. I saw that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's at least. I mean, I'm just going by eye. He could have even
Yeah.
been
No.
more.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, right.
so I think that's a good start. I mean, I'm not a Becton apologist. I tell people all the time that, it's not a hindsight thing. Like when that draft class was up, I wanted worse from the start.
Mhm.
I actually thought the Giants should have taken worse. I think they had like maybe the second or third pick in the draft. And then he drops all the way to the Jets, and I was ecstatic. I thought we
Yeah.
would have taken him, and then we went with kind of the guy that I felt was the risky pick, just based on where he went to school and his size
Yep.
and some health,
Yep.
some health risks there. Um,
Yeah.
so they went with the big bold move, and so far it was whatever you want to say in the future. It hasn't worked out uh, unless he starts to put together a couple of at least Pro Bowl caliber or like at least just game seasons where he plays 15 games. It hasn't worked out yet.
Yeah.
Do
So
you
I
think
need to.
he's the
I,
do
I
you
was
think
I
he's
need
the
people to.
starting left tackle? Or is it gonna be Fant?
Uh, I think he's built his skill set is built better for right tackle. In all honesty, usually with the two positions, left tackles are the better pass pro guys.
Sure.
That just seal up that blind side, and then right
Absolutely.
tackles typically are these big power blockers that can run block with the best of them, these mauler types. So like his skill set is perfect for right tackle. Now I don't know if he wants to play right tackle. I know he said like yesterday or the day before that he said that he just wants to be on the field right now, which is a good mentality.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
Sure.
after
Sure.
after a year of playing right tackle, that could easily change, and he could say, "All right, now I want to be back on the left side."
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
right.
yeah,
Yeah. So the Jets could be creating their own little headache for themselves, and this could not. And
Oh,
I
what
mean,
else is new?
no, I'm saying, and this is the thing that worries me. I guess I always sound like a downer. That's why people say, "You sure you're a Jet fan?" Yeah, I'm a diehard Jet. These are the little stories and these little maneuvers and that aggravate me because I feel like it never turns out to be as it should. It's never gonna. I'm hoping, Mike, we have you on in week 8, and you say, "Greg, you see, it did work." These are those moves that I feel come back to bite us in our ass, and they never take off. Where it was another team, it would work, and they look like the coaches would look like
Sure.
geniuses.
Yeah,
But
right.
in
Yeah.
our and again, I'm that 52-year-old negative Nelly type of a Jet fan, But I'm hoping this move works. I say it all the time, Mike, and I know it doesn't sound like it. I'm a Becton guy. I wanted him here. I was ecstatic when they got him. My problem with him is that when I hear a 23-year-old kid sitting at home playing video games, yeah, I heard the fans say, well, he's staying out of trouble. He's home, he's being a good guy. I get it. At 23, with a child on the way, you should have been making everyone eat their words and come in like a cheesy quote, a lean, mean fighting machine because of what your future holds with a son on the way, with a child on the way. He should have never came into those OTAs looking like that and giving all the Jet Beat writers and us knucklehead podcasters a chance to knock him down. He should have been showing everybody, this is what I look like. This is what you guys are getting. It never should have came to him looking like that as a 23-year-old.
Well,
yeah.
that was the videos with dragging tires around and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all in the off season.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say his trainer was talking a lot of smack too.
Yeah.
Saying that he was gonna be in shape, and then he showed up, and it's like, all right, well, what happened?
Yeah.
I will
too
say
many,
something.
too many biscuits. That's what happened.
Yeah, something to watch on the left. Just before I forget, on the whole left tackle thing you asked me a few minutes ago, is Fant, because they've been working out an extension reportedly, So if
Right.
that extension they clearly like Fant at left tackle. He's not
Oh,
as
yeah.
good of
Oh, yeah.
he's not as good of a right tackle. Just throughout his career, he hasn't done as well at right tackle, and he's a prototypical left tackle. He's a great pass pro guy. So if they extend him, that's something to watch with the whole Becton situation, because you would have to think that extension would sort of go out till the end of Becton's rookie contract.
Yeah.
When he's looking to
Yes.
get paid. So that is something that could be a kind of, like you said, a situation that could blow up in the Jets' face a little bit, but we'll see.
You ever have any thoughts of trading a guy like that?
Like Becton? Right. I think right now, I would have to look at his contract situation again. I think it would actually cost money to trade him right now, just with the cap situation on the rookie deal, being that he was a first round pick.
Right.
You might have a better chance trading him next year. I would have to look at, over the cap or something. But
I mean, I thought he was going to be the next DeBrick, but
and he still could be. He's still young.
Yeah.
My only worry with Becton is the weight. My other fear is that weight came off quick in a 5-week window.
Yeah.
And I feel like when guys, and I've went through it, I'm not as tall as I'm nowhere near anywhere, but when I lose weight that quick, that's why it's called yo-yoing. It comes back pretty quick too. Now, the one thing I think the Jets finally did right, if I heard right, and Mike, you correct me if I'm wrong, they finally got this man on a nutrition, like they got him a nutritionist, they got him meal planning and how to eat properly, and that seemed to pay off. Mike, I was screaming from last year. From when camp started last year, I said, Woody, with all this money, this is your number one asset at the time. Get this man the proper nutrition. Get him the proper care. Even if you have to send people to his house to live with him, do what you can to protect your assets. Maybe it finally got through to Woody, because it seems like, Mims is in great shape. Corey Davis came back in great shape. Zach is beefier now. Maybe the Jets are finally realizing what they need to do to put a great product out on the field.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Ann Claiborne is his trainer. She posts every now and again. She'll post something on Instagram about him. You do see there's been an emphasis from Salah's staff on conditioning, and knowing that these guys have to be on the field. I think year one shell shocked him a little bit in a way. In a good way, though, where he realized, all right, we have to figure out what went wrong. I know he did a heavy look or heavy study on Achilles specifically, because I think we had 3 or 4 torn Achilles last year, which is just insane. So I like Salah a lot as a coach. I think he's smart. I think he's a lot smarter than people even give him credit for, and I think he takes all these things into consideration, and he's building out, not only a staff, but he's building out an entire organization, that goes to training staff and everything too. So
I mean,
I'm hoping.
I look at him as Mangini smart, but with a personality.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a kind of a best of both worlds, if he could put that together. Mangini was a great X's and O's coach, but just couldn't talk to people.
No. But exactly. But Mangini, from what I learned also, that couldn't take anyone giving him any criticism. Like, it had to be his way or the highway. But again, back to the Becton thing. We've asked one of our guests in the past, do you buy into that? And I know it's true, it happens, but do you buy into the fact that Salah's coaching staff has no loyalty to Becton because they weren't part of that draft class? They don't care about that draft class. And you kind of wonder how much they like Becton and Mims, because those two guys seem to be the guys who get the most dirt thrown on them,
Yeah, I think it's 2 prongs. Like, as a player and as a skill set, maybe they wouldn't have recommended, those draft picks. I think for Mims specifically, Mims was it Adam Gase pick? I always say that to fans. He fit Adam Gase's system. Adam Gase liked to throw a lot of 50-50 deep passes to tall, lanky, athletic receivers. That's why I think they signed Rashad Perriman that year. That's why they brought in a guy like that, because very similar type of skill set. That was clearly, to me, a Adam Gase recommended pick. Now, that's not necessarily like a curse on Mims. I know people don't like hearing the name Adam Gase, but he could still be a good player. But I don't necessarily.
That's a curse in itself. That name.
Yeah, He's a good player, and he could be a good player. I just don't necessarily think this staff would have picked him, just based on the way their offense runs. That doesn't mean they don't like him as a person.
I heard he's coming on in camp. So yeah,
it seems like he's really been like again. You hear this a lot. It's sort of coach speak sometimes, but they said he's in the best shape of his life. And he had the first practice. He had a crazy day. He had, I think, 4 catches and So hopefully he keeps showing that. But just the basic answer to your question is, I do think they want these guys to prove that they're all in. So they didn't draft them. So, with Becton, for example, they want him to show that he's living up to his word and doing what he says he's going to do. But at the same time, I don't think they have anything against these guys. Like, sometimes fans think like, okay, they didn't draft them, they want them out automatically. Like, Quinnen Williams is a good example of a guy that didn't draft that most likely will get extended. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but I could see that happening. So
a good player is a good player no matter who drafted him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Joe Douglas did draft Becton and Mims, which that does give them a little bit of a backing in the organization, but they do have to prove themselves to the coaching staff. That's for sure.
The thing is, Mike, I always said I'm not this X's and O's guys. I just sit down and I watch my team and I make my comments just like millions of other Jet fans. You said about Mims not being a systems guy, but when you see this man and he's your prototypical wide receiver, don't you find a way to get him into your system, or even design 4 or 5 packages geared towards this guy because he's this type of receiver or could be this receiver? Like, isn't a good coach supposed to think outside the box?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And that's what Mike LaFleur always says. Like, if you ask him, when they ask him about it, he says, like, this is on me. I should be finding ways to, get these guys involved. But yeah, they say that, and then it doesn't seem to happen. I didn't see, just from watching, I didn't see many design plays to Mims last year. He definitely had an opportunity at the end of the season to step up when Davis got injured, but
100%.
And then, Moore was also out for a bit there.
Yep.
But you saw guys like practice squad guys pretty much outplaying him.
Yes.
A lot of fans attribute that to his tough year he had, COVID.
I do. I'm with them on that.
Yeah. So you could maybe give him some slack there. I'm not too big of it. I don't try to make excuses too much. So I don't give him too much slack there. I thought you should, at least in that final week or so, he should have been outplaying, a guy like Tariq Black, who, is
sometimes
sometimes
you just got to step up,
Yeah. Like, even if you are dealing with some stuff, you got to just persevere through. So that didn't impress me personally, the end of the season. But at the same time, I didn't see them throwing, some fans always say, like, just get the ball in his hands. He's a big guy. I didn't see any designed little, screens or short plays to him or anything like that. So it's weird. It's an interesting situation. From what they say to what actually happens.
He went through a weird season because the both things he went through, I experienced. So he had food poisoning. That's one. Now, I had food poisoning as a young man myself, and not to get too grotesque here. In a 20, and Mike, I'm being honest, I remember it perfectly. It was a Christmas Eve. I ate a bad piece of fish, and with the 24-hour window, eating the bad fish, I lost 27 pounds.
Wow.
27 pounds. And this is when a young man. I was athletic. I was doing personal training. I was in the best shape of my life. It took me, it took me at least 2 months to start getting my feet, getting my weight back again, starting to feel like I could eat more solids, more heartier meals. So I get that with Mims. So I felt like he wasn't going to bounce back. Now, maybe because they're athletes, we think they're superhuman and they should, they get sick and they come back the next day. Then he went through COVID. And I'm sure you guys did too. I got COVID the beginning of the year, Mike, and I didn't start feeling myself to almost end of March, early April. Now, I was better, but I didn't feel like I had that energy. Like I couldn't push the weights that I wanted to. I couldn't walk the distance that I wanted to. And I understand he's an athlete. We think they're superhuman, but I kind of want to give him a pass on that, even more than what Becton went through, because we saw all these great videos, all this great stuff. He comes in with the shirt and whatever. If you're going to come in with that shirt, you better look like you're a perfect V. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. I want both. I am. This is why I rant, and sometimes I just talk out of my what. I want both these guys here, Mike, because I think this is what you build the nucleus around, these young kids. This is, and I'm leading to a point here, Mike, stay with me. This is why I get aggravated now that I hear people saying, well, if Mims has the camp of his life, trade him. Why?
Yeah.
Do you agree, disagree? Give us your take on all that. I'm sure you're hearing those rumblings like we are.
Yeah, a lot of people, for example, we report on pretty much whatever, as long as it's from a viable source, we report on everything we hear. So it's not necessarily our opinion. But I know like my partner will report on a lot of trade stuff, just to shout him out, Paul Boygreen Esden. And a lot of times people go off on him in the comments, and he basically will respond like, well, this isn't my trade proposal. This is something I've been hearing. So I think it's in what I want to happen. I agree with you. I think I'd rather keep these guys. If you're just going to get like a 5th round pick for him, or like, I don't see the point in necessarily trading him. He could be a good Corey Davis replacement next year if things turn out well, because then you could cut Davis and save about 10 million. So that's a great backup plan to have there. So I would rather them keep him. Now, could they trade him? I think it's possible. And the only reason I say that, I'm sorry if you hear squeaking in the background, that's my dog. The only reason I say that is, could they trade him, is back to what we were talking about, and just whether this coaching staff, thinks he's a fit with them. If they don't think he's a fit long term, whether that's because of his skill set or that's just because of the comprehension factor. I think there is a comprehension factor with Mims where it didn't seem like he knew the playbook quickly.
That's what we heard. We've heard that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, someone like Berrios, just to throw out an example, they always talk about how well he knows the playbook, and it's evident because Mike LaFleur trusted him and he used him a lot late in the season. He designed stuff to him. Yep. So I do think if you read between the lines there, you can see that a lot of the stuff with Mims not knowing the playbook may have been true just because they weren't trusting him in those spots. So long story short, I think they could trade him. But I, as a fan, would not want them to trade him. I think, like you said, you got all these draft picks for a reason, to develop these guys, and it's only been what, 2 years with Mims. So
this will be year 3. Be year 3.
So you want to at least see year 3. A lot of receivers don't even develop in the NFL until year 3. So I'd like to see year 3.
What kind of frickin' mentality? It's a typical Jet mentality. Well, if he has a camp of his life, trade him. That's like that's like having the winning Mega Millions numbers and say, "Here, you take my numbers. I'll pick."
But Kevin, I don't think that's coming from the Jets. That's coming from us fans who talk out of our, all of us do.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm. But
hearing.
that's
And
what
Mike,
I mean.
you're on the same social media I am. We follow pretty much the same news.
Oh, yeah.
All you keep hearing, well, if Mims has a great preseason, get rid of him. Maybe we could get a 4. This is the line I hear. Magic Joe, he could hypnotize anyone. We could probably get. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a 2 from him. This and this. I'm just saying, I'm tired of that winning in March. We got the big free agent. I see in the last 3 years a nice little core, and I want this core to grow. I've always said it. I don't want to be. Nothing against Rex. I don't even want to get into, but I don't want to be the Jet team, Kevin. And I've said this 100 times, Mike, 100 times. 1 or 2 years and then shitty for 10. I want to be the team that slow builds and we're good for 8, 9 years. I want to be the team that all the networks are talking about in a good way. You know,
sustained
you want to be
success,
Pats of the AFC East.
But if we're going to keep trading away our assets because they had a good camp, or we can't find a way to work.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I want to see too. I mean, you want to see Salah, as I always say, you want to see Salah as the coach for the next decade. You know, he's a young coach, and you want to see that. Yeah, I mean, with Mims and with a lot of these guys, you do think they could be long-term pieces if they work out. So a lot of times with trades, I think fans don't think clearly on what you might get in return. I know Joe Douglas is like trade, wizard and all that, but what are you really going to get for Mims or Becton? You asked me about Becton earlier. What are you really going to get for these guys right now? I mean, Becton is at his lowest value.
It's a huge question mark.
Yeah. And then Mims is also at his lowest value. So if you trade, I mean, even if he has a great training camp against the, second or third team cornerbacks, I don't know if you're going to get it. Like, you're not going to get the same return. You're not going to get a second round pick, which is what you used on him. So you're not going to get the return back. You might get maybe some sort of conditional pick that's decent, but I don't see the point in trading him for a pick that's probably going to be, a lot of these late round picks are dart throw lottery picks.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. You're rolling the dice.
But the thing is, Mike, and I know, again, this, there is going to be some team out there August 20th, August 25th, as the season gets closer, who's going to lose a key receiver and be desperate and have to mortgage a little of the farm to get it, let's say for this conversation, a Mims. Okay. Then you also know every coach has an ego, even like with our baseball coaches. They're going to be the coach that says, I'm going to turn this player into the next John Stallworth or Lynn Swan or Wesley Walker, And so there's going to be a coach out there that says, get Mims in here. I could turn him into this, And a team might be desperate. I think if Mims has the camp of his life, you keep him here.
Of course.
Keep him here. Yeah. I just don't understand.
It would be Jet-like to get rid of him.
But even with the fan base, I don't understand why we may have a pot of gold, but we're looking to sell it off for beans. I just don't get to thinking. But
why can't Salah and LaFleur turn him around, right? If that's
that's what I'm saying.
Turn him around. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, Mike. Like, isn't it a good coach, even though you have your system and your system works, but thinking outside the box when you see what you could have or what you might have in a Mims? If he turns out to be the receiver we all thought we were getting 3 years ago, you got a gem.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
And to want to already give up on him, and I don't know.
And on the topic, these coaches have something to prove this year too. I mean, I liked a lot of what they said. Because I listened to so many press conferences last year. I like Salah as a leader for sure, and I do think overall he's gonna be a good head coach. If not with the Jets, hopefully with the Jets, but someday in his career. But the coordinators specifically have a lot to prove this year. I mean, worst ranked defense for Ulbrich. Obviously, he had a lot of injuries and a lot of issues, but he
Are you
has to.
sold? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mike. I'll let you. If I just wanted to throw it in so you could continue. Are you sold on the defensive coordinator?
No, I mean, I don't think you can be. Like when he came over from Atlanta, one of my friends is a big Falcons fan, and he was like, "Oh man, you guys got such a great coach," and he was telling me all these good things. And again, I love when you hear these guys talk. Ulbrich is another one that in press conferences, you could see like why players like him, and he is a former linebacker, obviously.
Yeah.
But players all love playing for him and all these things. But at the same time, the results got to be there. So more so with LaFleur, because we're talking about Mims. He's always, like I said, he always says that he's supposed to be the guy that builds the offense around these players, around these talents, and you haven't always seen that that willingness, at least with a certain players. So I still need to be shown something by these two coordinators this year. Personally, as much as I like the stuff they say, that's just talking in a press conference.
No, I get it.
So yeah, I think they still have to prove something for sure.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah,
I'm just
nothing against them though. I actually like I like this whole staff. I'm hoping that things just click this year and we don't have to have these sort of conversations. And then we have to start having the other conversation, which is, okay, which of these guys is going to get a head coaching job?
Yeah,
but that would be a better conversation to have.
Yeah, no, true.
What'd you think about the Quan Alexander move?
I like it. I mean, we were like debating this on Twitter yesterday. Michael Palace, one of the Jets content producers, was not so happy with the move, and we were kind of all just like, he tagged a bunch of people in the thread, and we all kind of almost like banded together to explain to him why it is a good move.
It's all about depth, man. Depth.
Yeah, nothing against Michael or anything. I don't want to put him on the spot, but I think he eventually realized his whole point was like, if Quan Alexander's here for a year, we're not going to see Sherwood and Nasruddin like get to develop. But we were all kind of telling him like, you can't bet on these guys who are 5th and 6th round picks. Like if they develop, great. They had they each had an opportunity last year. Sherwood unfortunately got hurt, but you can't just be at some point this staff is on the hot seat. You can't trust in that. You have to get some quality depth. I think this whole offseason we've seen Douglas bring in quality depth pretty much at every position, aside from maybe like one or two positions. And one of the last spots was linebacker. The linebacker core was extremely shallow.
Weak.
If let's say CJ Mosley played a full season pretty much last year. I think he missed one game. But if you go back a year before that, we all were questioning whether CJ would ever play because he pretty much never played as a Jet. He played, that first game against Buffalo.
Yeah.
So you never know. Mosley could get hurt this year. If he gets hurt, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble.
You're right.
I'm not even a huge Mosley fan, but if he gets hurt, it's Quincy Williams and then who?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, now I've seen that Salah looks at Sherwood as an eventual replacement for Mosley. So
definitely, and I like Sherwood. Seems like he's very intelligent defender. I think that's why they like him at middle linebacker. Is he's very intelligent. He's a good leader, but again, torn Achilles. So this goes for everyone. Lawson, Marcus May, everyone that had that injury last year. You don't know how these guys are going to come back.
Those torn Achilles have been a thorn in our freaking side since listen, 1999. Okay. Me and my brother sit down in the seats. This is our year. We're going to the freaking Super Bowl. What happens before the end of the first quarter? Testaverde goes down, pounding the turf, this and that was that. We're like,
yeah. For a second, I thought you were gonna say you tore your Achilles. Like
no. It's just sat down in the seats. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
supposed to be our year. We fell short in Denver the year before. Here we come. Okay. And Testaverde goes down, and the rest is
Yep.
history.
That curse, yep, that black cloud, right?
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Are you just quoting Kevin and I from past shows talking about? I know you're aware of this black cloud that us old Jet fans talk about that the young fans don't want to hear about, but yeah, we know it.
No, I mean it's hard to argue against it, right? But no, with what we're talking about here, I mean I used to be a sports medicine in college major, so like the Achilles that's a tough one to come back from.
Yeah.
Sherwood's a young guy, so he should be able to come back from it, but he was never this like explosive athlete. If you studied him, in scouting and stuff like that, Nasruddin was supposed to be the Mims type athletic freak. While Sherwood was more like a cerebral type player. But now he's got this Achilles. He was already a little bit of a slower player on the field. He wasn't the quickest linebacker. So I just don't. I'm not saying Sherwood's career as a Jet is over, and that's not what anyone's saying. But I don't think you could rely on that. You need to have another option. I don't even know if he's going to start the season on the active roster. You might see him start the season on a short-term injury list. So it's not something you could rely on. You needed to bring in some sort of linebacker, and it was a good move. Definitely.
So, Mike, I have two more questions before we let you go. And again, thank you for hopping on with us.
Yeah.
Joe Douglas makes one more move before the season starts, yay or nay?
So I don't know how much stock we put into the new Athletics new beat reporter, Zach Rosenblatt, but he said the other day that he's confident they're gonna get a D tackle before the season starts.
He thinks a D tackle. Wow.
Yeah, and he also said that he thinks we could still add an offensive tackle too. And I would agree with that second point.
That's what I was getting.
Me too.
I was thinking OT, and I believe, now I could be wrong, Riley Reif is still out there, correct?
He just signed.
He signed, yes.
Oh, he did.
Signed.
Okay.
I think it was sometime this week. It was pretty recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
My suspicions on Reif were kind of correct. I was right about Reif. I was wrong about Alexander. But for both of them, I sort of had the mindset of we made these guys offers and they didn't take them, which tells me that they're looking for a starting job somewhere. Now, maybe that was the case with Alexander too, and maybe no one offered him one because of his injury history. But
they don't want to be depth; they want to start.
Yeah, but Reif in particular has started his whole career. I don't think he wanted to, unless it was his only option. I don't think he wanted to take a backup role here. So you saw him get a big. He got like starter money. I think he got like 10 mil or something. So
did he really? I'm just out of it. Who did he sign with, guys? I don't know. I have no clue.
Oh God, I'm blanking now on who he signed with.
Is it a playoff contending team or?
I think. Who the hell did I see sign? Yeah, me too.
I'm sure someone will tell us down in the comments.
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know.
But he did sign this week or so. So he's off the table. You still have a few options though. You got I know like Eric Fisher, somebody that my partner talks about a lot. He's like another veteran that he was used to be the Chiefs left tackle. He also had a big injury a couple years ago, but last year he played the whole season, I believe. And then you got Dwayne Brown, who's like used to be a stud all pro type, but then he's like approaching 40, so he's up there. And then you have there's one more name too that we've discussed that it's not coming to mind right now, but there's a few decent options that could easily be a swing or a good backup. I think that's the move you got to make though to round out
tackle.
the answer.
Absolutely.
I was big on D tackle for before the bulk of the offseason when guys like BJ Hill were available, or guys like DJ Jones. Like, I really like those D tackle options, but I just don't see too many guys out there right now that make us better at D tackle. And we have a lot of options there. So
yeah, yep.
And as much as it's about getting to the quarterback of the opposing team, it's about keeping your own upright too. So,
oh yeah. But I will say at offensive tackle, there's a few options out there that make more sense to me.
absolutely.
Defensive tackle, it's like, okay, we could bring in another guy that's going to compete, but is it really going to? He may not even win the job. So
exactly.
Hey, I'm really hoping that Johnson and Clemens is the real deal. I'm really hoping that's the real deal. And again, 2 young players that this defense could build around, hopefully for 8, 9, 10 years. But
yeah,
I think Clemens is going to be a nice surprise.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. a lot of people gave me crap for this during the draft process, but Jermaine Johnson was maybe like my favorite, or one of my favorite 2-3 prospects in the entire draft. So yeah, I was a huge Jermaine Johnson guy. I told people that I would draft him at 4. Yeah. So that looks stupid now, but still.
I heard so many people say that he could have been the best edge rusher in the draft. So
yeah, and I mean, people still are saying like, oh, well, you would have drafted him at 4 and he dropped to 24. I honestly don't really care about that, because how many times do we see guys in the 3rd or 4th round that should have won in the 1st round?
Hey,
yeah, no, true.
Hey, where did Brady in Montana come from? Yeah. Not the 1st round.
No, it's funny you say that, Mike, because Kevin and I, during our draft shows, we were high on the kid too. And at one point, like when it started to get 13, 14, Kevin and I were texting each other and going, why is he falling? Is there something we don't know about? Is he injured? Is there something in his past? Sometimes it's just meant to be.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes we have to look at it and say, maybe it's meant for this kid to be here. Maybe he's gonna be our Gastineau or Kevin, who's the other guy? I can't think of Abraham. Maybe he's
John Abraham.
That's why it was meant. Like, so I want to take the positive. He fell because it was meant for him. This is where he's gonna light it up. You know,
that's positive. There you go. That's positive.
Yeah. I'm not always. I always say I wear the rose-colored glasses, and that leads me to my second question. We made our predictions, Kevin, early. We're gonna do it again the week before.
Oh man, that was my last question.
All right. So Kevin and I both have them going 10-7. What's your take on this team? Are we a little too high? Like, are we reaching too high on this guy, or is 10-7 realistic for you? What's your take on their record? What would you think they're going to be?
So I like to go through the whole schedule, like at the end of preseason. I will give you a prediction, but this is just like a rough one.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, I love to go through the schedule, like, and just literally there's a couple programs that you could find on like the internet, where you can go through each week and just pick each game.
Okay.
And to me, that's the best way to do it, because I don't know the schedule of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if I were to say they're going 3 wins, 5 wins, I'm just literally just tossing that number out of thin air, and it's better to just go through it all. Okay. But I do know the Jets.
So you're taking the sports report away.
Yeah. No, I do know the Jets, but I do know the Jets schedule. Obviously, I like the second half of the schedule more, which is a little bit of a concern to me, just because you always want to start. You want to start hot, and you want the guys in the building to believe they can win. Having said that, they've caught a couple breaks. Possibly won't see Deshaun Watson.
The Ravens receivers are nothing to worry about.
Ravens could be, not that he's a huge necessarily player, but they could be missing J.K. Dobbins week 1. We'll see. He's running, they're running back.
Ravens don't scare me.
I think you guys are on a little bit higher projection than I'll be.
Okay.
I think 9 is like my ceiling, 9 wins. And then I could also see it flipping the other way and being 1 game under. Now we have that extra game, right? So so 8 or 9 wins would probably be my prediction. I'm hoping 9 is a playoff, contender maybe because of this extra spot.
Now, Mike, don't forget, we said now 10-7 because we're looking at this team, of course, like everyone else on paper and the health. We said we would do it again the week before when rosters are put in stone and we see who's here and what teams lost big names or got a big name. But right now, like looking at the schedule, the rose-colored glasses in me has them at 10-7. But I wasn't one of those Jet fans, Mike, who when the schedule came out, freaked out and said, oh, the NFL shit on us. We don't get the breaks. I'm from the camp of you beat who's on your schedule. If you're the New York Jets and us fan base wants our team to get where we want it to go kick the Ravens in the mouth on 9/11 in our home field.
Oh,
you played to win the game.
Yeah. So we'll
I
have
mean, you gotta. If you want to, I was gonna say, if you want to win a championship, you got to beat everybody, right? So
that's right.
I mean, I'll tell you this: like covering the Chiefs, you see like a whole different mindset. Obviously, they're one of the most successful teams in the last 5 years, if not the most successful team. So you see a different mindset. Like when I write and you read the comments from Chiefs fans, most Chiefs fans just think, they have the hardest schedule, I think, statistically in football this year.
Okay.
They don't care about that. They literally just think they're going to run through everybody. So that's kind of the mindset you got to have if you want to be the best.
The mentality,
beat everybody.
Yep. And that's the mindset I had. Now, again, maybe it's 52 years of stupidity, but every year the schedule comes out, Mike, and every year I go, 10-6, 11-5. If a ball bounces this way or that way, 12-4. I know it's unrealistic, but that's the way I feel about my team. Again, we'll have to have you on again early September if you're up for it, and we'll really dive into it again. And if you have some prediction, we'll let you give it then. But again, Mike, this was great having you on.
Absolutely.
Like everyone, you're now part of our family. Whenever you want to come on, hit us up. We'll have you on. Whenever whenever you want to come on, you come on up.
Yeah, I mean,
so you're saying
had a great time. Yeah, I'll say 9. I'll say 9 wins as my official prediction. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's great.
I'm writing it down.
It was great being on. Overall, I am optimistic. Just to give a little closing speech for the Jets fans. Over these next few weeks, the thing I want to see is no injuries. That's the main thing I want to see.
Yeah.
But a lot of these rookies are already impressing. People that I trust in this business, their opinion. So that's good. Breece Hall's looking really good. You have obviously Sauce is looking good. We haven't seen too much of Jermaine Johnson just because they haven't had the pads on, but Clemens as well. But most of these guys are looking good. Wilson, obviously, we'll see Garrett Wilson, what he can do this training camp. So it should be exciting. I mean, there's no reason not to be excited right now if you're a Jets fan.
I'm pumped up. I'm headed to the green and white at the stadium next Saturday.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
There you go.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you again.
No problem.
Brother. You're welcome to come on. Thank you for doing this for us. Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right,
Mike.
Take care.
Be good. Yep.
Have a great Saturday, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you.
Thanks for coming up.
That was good.
Yeah. Hell yeah. 9-10. 9-10.
Hey, that could change. Like he said, it could change, one up, one down, either way.
9 wins.
Another great show. I want to tell everybody, please like and subscribe. Hit us up in the comments. Before I go, Kevin, I want to give a shout out. I don't know if you notice, I'm wearing this great new hat.
I see that. Where did you get that?
So I got that from Justin and the boys from Jet Lounge. The Jet Lounge is really doing this great thing of really uniting the Jet fans, and they're doing great things at the stadium. They're on Twitter. They're on Instagram. They're a bunch of good guys and ladies really rallying the Jet Nation, the support for Jet Nation. And they have all these great giveaways, and they have this stadium thing that they're doing week 1. I don't know if tickets are available. You could find Justin and Jet Lounge on Twitter. Hit them up. I think tickets are still available. They're doing this great stuff and a bunch of great things. So check them out, guys.
Pretty cool. That's a badass hat.
Thank you. All right, Kev, that's it for me for
Yeah,
this
hey,
week.
yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to our new subscribers.
Yes.
We picked some
Well,
up.
thank
So
you. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
You.
you.
We
Yep.
appreciate it. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the show.
Yep. Yep. All right, Kev, enjoy your weekend. Supposed to be a nice one, and we'll talk soon.
Oh, hell yeah. You guys have a great weekend. Hey, and we're getting in the thick of it, man. We're getting in the thick of it.
Yep.
I'm ready. All right. I'll talk to you later, brother. And we'll talk
Yes,
to you
you
guys
will.
later.
All right.
And jet up. Have a good one.